Let's talk about something that confuses almost every woman at some point. You want him to miss you, to think about you when you're not around, to feel that pull, that magnetic tension that makes him reach out. But here's the problem. Every piece of advice you get says the same thing. Ignore him. Don't text back so fast. Make him jealous. Play hard to get. And maybe you've tried all of those things. Maybe you've gone silent for days. Maybe you've posted pictures with other people. Maybe you've acted cold when all you wanted was warmth. And what happened? Either he got confused and pulled away completely, or you felt like a fraud the entire time. Because deep down, you know, games don't create genuine connection. They create distance. So today, we're doing something different. I'm going to show you how to make a man miss you, not through manipulation, not through strategy, not through pretending to be someone you're not, but through understanding the actual psychology of male longing. Because here's the truth. A man doesn't miss you because you disappear. He misses you because of how he feels when you're present. And once you understand that distinction, everything changes. So stay with me, because by the end of this, you're going to know exactly how to create the kind of emotional space that makes a man think about you constantly, without losing yourself in the process. Let's begin. First, let's understand what missing someone actually means psychologically. Missing someone isn't just about physical absence, it's about emotional contrast. Here's what I mean. You don't miss something that's always the same. You don't miss background noise. You don't miss things that require no effort to access. You miss things that made you feel something, changed your emotional state, created a void when they left. So when a man misses a woman, his brain isn't just thinking, she's not here. His brain is thinking, something feels different without her. My emotional baseline has shifted. I want that feeling back. And here's the key. That feeling doesn't come from absence alone. It comes from the quality of presence you created when you were there. This is why playing games doesn't work. When you disappear strategically, when you go cold, when you ignore him for days, his brain doesn't register, wow, I miss her emotional warmth. His brain registers, this feels confusing. Is she interested? Should I even bother? Confusion doesn't create longing. Confusion creates detachment. So let's talk about what does create longing. Here's the uncomfortable truth most women don't want to hear. A man will only miss you if being around you felt good. Not good as in comfortable, not good as in easy, nor good as in he never had to think. Good as in his nervous system relaxed, his emotional state improved, his sense of self expanded. Let me paint a picture. Imagine two women. Woman A, every time he sees her, there's tension. She's questioning him, analyzing his words, bringing up past issues, testing him, making him feel like he's on trial. Woman B, every time he sees her, he laughs. She's present, light, engaged, not taking everything so seriously, making him feel like himself, just better. Now, both women disappear for a week. Which one does he miss? Woman B. Not because she played games, but because her presence created something his nervous system wants more of. This is the foundation. Before you can make a man miss you, you have to become someone worth missing. And that's not about perfection, it's about energy. So, let me help you to understand the different layers that help you to create that worth as a woman. Layer number 1. Create emotional peaks, not flat lines. Here's what most women don't realize. A man doesn't miss consistency. He misses emotional variation. Let me explain. If every interaction with you feels the same, Same energy, same tone, same level of engagement. His brain categorizes you as predictable. And predictable doesn't create longing. Predictable creates comfort. But when your emotional range varies naturally, when you're playful one moment and deeply thoughtful the next, when you're energetic during one conversation and calm during another, his brain stays engaged. Because now he's experiencing you in layers, and layers create curiosity. Here's the key. This isn't about being traumatic, it's about being real. Most women flatten their emotions around men because they're afraid to be too much. But flattening yourself makes you forgettable. The women men think about, they're the ones who feel alive. Not chaotic, not unstable, just fully expressed. So if something makes you laugh, laugh fully. If something moves you, let it show. If you're in a playful mood, be playful. If you're in a reflective mood, be reflective. Don't perform, just exist. And watch how much more he thinks about you. Layer 2. Give him space to realize your impact. Now, this is where most women panic, because I'm about to say something that sounds like playing games, but it's not. Here it is. A man can only miss you if you're not always there. Now, pause. Before you think I'm telling you to disappear or ignore him, let me explain what I actually mean. Presence and availability are not the same. Presence means when you're with him, you're fully there, engaged, present, emotionally available. Availability means you're always accessible, always responding immediately, always rearranging your schedule around his schedule. And here's the truth. When you're too available, his brain doesn't have space to miss you. Not because he doesn't care, but because there's no contrast. Think about it. When do you miss someone most? When they've been gone long enough for you to notice their absence. When something happens and you think, I wish they were here. When you go to share something and realize they're not available in that moment. That's when longing forms. In the space. So, here's what this looks like practically. Don't text him back within seconds every time. Drop everything when he asks to hang out. Make your schedule revolve entirely around his schedule. Have a life that's genuinely full. Respond when you're available, not the second you see the message. Say, I'd love to, but I already have plans sometimes. Not as a tactic, but because you actually have plans. Because when your life is full, when your time has value, when he realizes he has to coordinate with you, not command you, his brain registers, she's choosing to spend time with me. That means something. And choice? Choice creates value, and value creates longing. Layer 3. End interactions on high notes. Here's a secret that will change how you navigate every interaction. Always leave while it still feels good. Let me explain. Most women make this mistake. They're having a great conversation with a man and they don't want it to end, so they keep going and going and going until eventually the energy dips, the conversation runs out of steam, awkward pauses start creeping in, and that's when they finally say goodbye. But here's what just happened psychologically. The last thing he remembers about that interaction is the awkwardness, not the laughter, not the connection, the fade. But when you end the conversation while it's still good, while you're both still laughing, while he's still engaged, while the energy is still high, he's left wanting more. Because now he's thinking about the next time. And that's when he starts reaching out. So, here's the principle. Leave on a peak. Not abruptly, not rudely, just while it's still good. I've got to run, but this was really fun. Let's continue this some other time. That sentence creates anticipation, because now he's thinking about the next time. Layer 4. Trigger his curiosity without being mysterious. Let me address something important.
You've probably heard, be mysterious, don't tell him everything, keep him guessing. And on the surface, that sounds strategic. But here's the problem. Mystery without substance is just confusion. And confusion doesn't create attraction, it creates frustration. So, instead of trying to be mysterious, focus on being interesting. Here's the difference. Mysterious energy says, I'm not going to share much about myself. Interesting energy says, I have a life full of experiences, thoughts, and passions that naturally unfold as you get to know me. You don't have to hide things, you just have to have things. Hobbies, goals, opinions, passions, a perspective on life that's uniquely yours. When you have depth, he doesn't run out of things to discover about you.
Every conversation reveals a new layer. Every date shows a new side. Every interaction deepens his curiosity. And that keeps him thinking about you. Because he's not trying to solve a puzzle. He's enjoying getting to know someone who's genuinely complex and alive. Layer 5. Create positive withdrawal, not cold withdrawal. All right, this is where we separate games from psychology. Withdrawal can be manipulative, or it can be healthy. The difference is in the energy behind it. Cold withdrawal says, I'm going to punish you by disappearing. I'm going to make you feel my absence as revenge. That's manipulation. Positive withdrawal says, I'm living my life. I'm not always available, but when I am, I'm fully present. That's self-respect. Here's how this shows up. Cold withdrawal. He texts you, you see it, you deliberately wait hours to respond, even though you're free, just to make him wait. Positive withdrawal. He texts you, you're genuinely busy, you respond when you're done with what you're doing, warmly, but on your time. Feel the difference? One is strategic, the other is authentic, and men feel the difference. When your withdrawal is positive, when it's not about punishing him, but about honoring your own life, his brain doesn't feel rejected, it feels inspired. He thinks, she's not sitting around waiting for me, she has things going on. I want to be part of that world. And that's when he starts chasing the connection. So, here's the evolutionary psychology behind it. And I need you to zoom out with me for a second. Thousands of years ago, men were wired to pursue what felt valuable, and value was determined by scarcity, not abundance. A woman who was always available signaled, I have no other options. A woman who had her own rhythms, her own life, her own priorities signaled, I'm thriving. You're welcome to join if you earn it. That wiring never disappeared. Modern men are still drawn to women who feel valuable. And value isn't about playing games. It's about genuinely having a life worth protecting. When you live fully, when you have friendships, passions, goals, joy, you're not trying to make him miss you. You're just living. And in that living, naturally, space forms. And in that space, he misses you. Not because you disappeared, but because the quality of your presence created something irreplaceable. All right, let's further bring this into real life. Scenario 1. He asks what you're doing this weekend. Game playing response, oh, I'm busy, even though you're not. Authentic response, I've got plans with friends Saturday, but Sunday's open. Want to do something then? See, you're not lying. You're not manipulating. You're just living. And in that living, you're showing him, my time has value, but I'm willing to share it with you. Scenario 2. He texts you at 11 p.m. Game playing response, ignore him for 24 hours to teach him a lesson. Authentic response, respond the next morning, hey, I was already asleep when you texted. What's up? No punishment, no coldness, just boundaries. And boundaries, they create respect. Scenario 3. You're having an amazing conversation. Desperate energy, keep talking until it fizzles. Confident energy, this has been so fun. I have to run, but let's pick this up soon. You're not being cold, you're being intentional. And intentionality, that's what makes you unforgettable. And this is the truth about making a man miss you. Let me say this clearly. You cannot force a man to miss you, but you can create the conditions where missing you is inevitable. And those conditions are being fully present when you're with him, having a life that's genuinely full without him, ending interactions on high notes, maintaining emotional depth and curiosity, withdrawing positively, not punitively. None of these are games. They're just living well. And when you live well, when your life feels rich, when your energy is magnetic, when your presence is a gift, he doesn't just miss you, he craves you. Because you're not a woman who disappears to manipulate. You're a woman who exists fully, and he wants to be part of that existence. So, here's what I want you to remember. Stop trying to make him miss you through absence. Start making him miss you through presence. Be so engaged, so alive, so authentically yourself when you're with him that your absence feels like a loss. Not because you played games, but because your energy is irreplaceable. And then, live your life, fully, unapologetically. Because the woman who makes a man miss her isn't the one who disappears. She's the one who shows up so fully that leaving her presence feels like leaving warmth for cold. And that woman, she doesn't need games. She just needs to keep being herself. Now tell me, have you been trying to make him miss you through games or through the power of your presence? Drop your honest thoughts in the comments. Let's talk about it. This is Lovebreed, and around here, in everything we do, we let love breed.